My 7th rank 3 7-star is Dust, my second mutant right behind Emma Frost, and I really like Dust. I think she's a very interesting mutant that's released this year. Sometimes I'm trying to figure out what exactly she's meant to do in the game. I think she is heavily focused at being an annoying defender, which she has proven in both Alliance War and sometimes on Battlegrounds. She's more of a skill-based defender than a RPG-based defender, I feel like, but she does do pretty well for me on BG's defense, if I'm being honest. And BG's attack, she's okay for her. She has some good matchups in the skill class, but you wouldn't really use her outside of those matchups. But what I think she is pretty nice for is a good boss killing mutant champion versus a bunch of the skill type bosses. We're gonna see some skill bosses in Eternity of Pain, which she was pretty useful for. She's also a pretty good quester. We're gonna see a bunch of questing content for Dust. I think that is a big strength of her kit. I don't see her being used too much in Alliance War simply because Onslaught exists, which is just another reason I hate Onslaught, because he makes every other mutant look bad. Dust genuinely could do a lot of cool stuff in War. It just doesn't matter because Onslaught always goes to what she would do, which is really unfortunate, but I don't have a rank 3 Onslaught, I have a rank 3 Dust, so I'm going to be showing off Dust doing a bunch of cool stuff in this video, and we're going to start against Winter Soldier in Realm of Legends. So we're just going to see a basic rotation. This is not the Battlegrounds rotation, but the rotation you're going to use basically everywhere outside of Battlegrounds. And we're going to get to the SP3, drop the SP3, and then that's going to cast a long Sandstorm. And what Dust Sandstorm does is it converts all that sand on the opponent into prowess, and then you gain power efficiencies and just do a bunch of special damage. So she's kind of a classic mutant where you build up a bunch of prowess and then just do a bunch of SP special 2s or special 1s. In Dust's case, she actually has pretty hard hitting SP1, and then just do damage that way. Kind of just generic prowess damage dealing mutant. But Dust has really nice immunities and some interesting utility to make her diversify from the rest of that mechanic. So here I dropped the SP2 with low power efficiency, which maybe wasn't the best call. I probably should have ramped up a little bit more before dropping it, but it's still alright. We're going to drop another SP2 right there, and then we get some really nice crits, and he's going to die before I can even drop another what would be hard-hitting SP1. So we move on to the Battlegrounds fights. I only have 3, but 2 of them are against some pretty meta defenders, so I'm pretty happy about that. First being Bullseye. This is in the current victory track meta, which is Provocateur and Secutor, along with a good defense, and I think a good defense is helping me out a little bit here. But it's not that big a deal. I've done this matchup outside of this meta, I just didn't have it recorded. We have a little bit of precision, we have a very tiny power gain as well. But the goal versus Dust versus Bullseye is just to try to place as many sand as possible and just get the amount you think you need before you start cycling. And then what you can do, like I did right there, is whiff your heavy, because it's still going to cast the Sandstorm. So now I'm just going to build up a bunch of power efficiency. I have 13 there, and we do a really nice SP2, drop the SP1 here, and now I just need him to dash in, hit my block a bit, or I can relic like that, and then go for another SP1, which is going to finish the job. So that's kind of how you want to Dust a Bullseye. That heavy whiffing trick is pretty useful. So yeah, really kind of like that matchup, and then got to use my new Dust emote from the bounty missions. So now we move on to Atuma. Dust's, actually all of her hits, except for her medium attacks, are non-contact, meaning she's very good for Atuma. Kind of like Professor X, where his medium 1 is going to be contact, but everything else is not, so you just don't take a lot of damage versus Atuma. And this was when she was bugged as well. So you're going to see I'm only gaining 2 passive dust when I purify. She was bugged, when was it? It was until the most recent update. In October she was fixed. But before that, for a long time, she was doing this, where she'd be placing a lot less sand passives on the opponent than she should be. And also not doing like the burst damage on purifying them or something. Or maybe she was. I don't even know. But either way, this is Dust doing less damage than normal, and she still killed a Tuma in about 50 seconds with pretty full health. So yeah, I really like Dust for a Tuma. It's a matchup that I definitely do pretty often. And now, last one is just Black Cat. It's just because I had this fight recorded, not because like Black Cat's a very good defender or anything, but figured I'd show it anyway. So yeah, the lag, holy crap, was really bad there, so our score at the end is actually going to be a lot different than it really was. So anyway, again, this is another bugged fight. I just haven't played Dust very much since she got fixed, which is unfortunate, but I think it was only like the BG's fights where she was bugged. We'll see, but I believe it was only those. So then you can actually see what Dust really does. And that's part of why this showcase took so long for me to make. Also, Black Cat taking forever to throw a special, man. But part of why this showcase took so long for me to make is because of the fact that she was bugged so much. Here, I just messed up the rotation. I should have got way more power efficiency before I dropped that SP2. But I believe this SP1 comes close to finishing the job if it doesn't. Yeah, I just need to hit her a few more times, and then she dies right there. So yeah, not the fastest. It should have been a lot faster, but we won the round anyway. But yeah, this showcase, I know it took a long time to make, and trust me, part of that was just because she was bugged for the longest time. And then I released the Morbius one and the Silk one before this. So we are kind of working in backwards order, but now obviously I finally have this Dust showcase out, so yeah, it's fine. This is Moondragon from the Bounty event. I really like the Bounty events. I know some people don't. I think they're really cool. They are a little bit repetitive, like closer to the end, but like the first 2 weeks of bounties were really fun. Just take maybe even 3 weeks, just fighting the different bosses, because I really like boss killing game modes. And yeah, this one was pretty fun. So there's another Whiffed Heavy, and then I'm also SP3 locked, so I can just not even worry about building too much. And then I dropped the SP1 there, which I probably should have timed it better, but it's fine. One I opened triggered on the last of the SP2, so I did take some damage there, which was a little annoying, but it's all good. Now we're going to fight Baron Zemo in the same quest. Well, this is actually the Elite Bounty one. I had to restart, by the way, because I messed this fight up originally, so I just crashed it and restarted. But we're going to go in. And Dust, I like Dust for Zemo actually, because when he places that, you're going to be bleed immune, and then just don't get hit, obviously, but when you parry, the glance triggers, so he's actually not going to be able to, trigger a Fury when you parry, and you're rooted, so that's pretty cool. You just have to be better at it than me. And she also obviously just is really tanky on the block with that glance. Even with the disorient, we're not taking as much damage as we normally would. So there we trigger a bunch of Purify, and am I going to go for the SP3 in this fight? It looks like that's what I'm doing. I don't know where that protection's coming from, but we'll find out, I guess. So drop the SP3. Is it Intercept? Ebb and Flow Intercept? Let's see. There I dex the special 2. Yeah, it's Ebb and Flow Intercept. So we go for the SP2 there with a little power efficiency, unfortunately, but I dropped the SP1, and that was an 80k crit on the first of the SP1. So yeah, she does some pretty good special damage, in case you didn't know. But now we're moving on to this Agent Venom in the event quest from this month, or last month, I'm not exactly... No, it would still be this month at the time I published this video, I'm pretty sure. But this had Mercy. I think I barely even understood what Mercy did. All I know is that Dust Glance, on her parry, kind of messed with it, which is pretty funny. But anyway, I just want to be placing a bunch of my sand, obviously, let him auto-purify those, and then have a pretty good time. Yeah, I think it's I get Mercy charges when I dex, and then when I parry, they're supposed to go on him, but because I glance, they don't go on him or something. It was weird. I don't know. All I know is I'm just placing a bunch of sand because he keeps auto-purifying them. It's pretty great. But either way, we're just baiting and dexing the SB1 constantly, and we're getting Furies from dexing the SB1, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the Glance is going to mess me up because I should be placing Mercy charges on him, and instead I'm just going to lose them on both of us. So here, I don't know why I'm not going for a well-timed block. Like here I drop the SP2 and it does like no damage. I'm like, wait, what happened there? Why wasn't that working? And then I get the parry there, so now they're off of me and I can do some damage on my specials. And then we get 111k crit once I figure out what the heck I was doing. So yeah, there we go. That fight's over, and then we got a pretty nice crit there. So now we're doing a power shield path. I'm actually not going to talk over these fights. I'll be back for like the next one, but it was just a pretty fun lane in Act 8.4.6 that I took Dust for, and you can just see those play out. I'll be back for some more interesting stuff to voice over. Next up, we're fighting in Eternity of Pain. I have 2 bosses here to show, first being the Crossbones. And Dust having immunity to both bleed and poison is really, really cool. There might be a few other mutants with those both immunities. Omega Red comes to mind. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, but I know Omega Red for sure. And it just means that she obviously is going to destroy Biohazard. There I messed up a bit and just forgot. He's going to reduce the ability accuracy in my block, obviously. But we keep placing so much sand for him to auto-purify. It's so great. Like, using Dust versus auto-purifiers feels so good because you don't have to weave in a bunch of light attacks if you don't want to. And yeah, we just went from like 41 to 59 super fast. Now we're at 74, 80, and once we get to the SP3, I'm just like ready to full-on nuke the fight. And we'll see exactly if we can, but I want to trigger Bane there and then bait the SP1 real fast, and then after I do that, we're gonna chill for a minute, let Bane go back on me, drop the special 3, and he's gonna go from 83% all the way down to 75, and then build up a few power efficiencies. I should have built up more. I keep saying that, like I really should just be building up more power efficiencies before I'm doing this, but it's all good. I'm gonna go for another SP2 here, and at this point I was just going for the full-on nuke, and you're gonna see we weren't able to get the full-on nuke. I got 1 crit at the end, but luckily I was able to go straight in and he didn't drop the SP3, which would have killed me obviously, but I had the time to like not play super aggressive there. I just did it anyway, so luckily I just didn't get punished for it. And then next up we're gonna fight Kraven in the same quest. This fight's a little different. We have Matador here, so we're just going to try to bait Kraven's SP2s if we can, because I don't want to deal with that trap if I can help it. And then eventually, once I feel like I have enough sand on the opponent, go for the SP3. See when the load times actually let me in the fight. Come on, there we go. And he's going to be unblockable for most of the fight. He actually only loses the unblockable when I go for, when I knock him down with a special, because then he switches to unstoppable and then you're supposed to use a heavy. It's just a really weird and annoying node. But another really weird and annoying thing is Kraven's endurance. It makes Dust, not the best for this fight. It's just a really annoying mechanic. Because, yeah, he's not purifying it, he's just making it fall off super fast, so that kind of just loses the benefit. But we just try to bait heavies and get him to force him to SP2s. And then build up Dust on the way to, pushing him and his power bar up. And eventually I'm just going to go for the ideal nuke and stuff. So go for a relic there and push him to another special 2. Bait it real fast whenever he throws it. Then we're probably going to go for the SP3 shortly after. I might build up a little bit more Dust. Let me see exactly how much I go for because I don't remember. Are we going to bait another SP2 first? Yeah, it looks like I'm baiting another SP2 first. And then we have 69 right now. And then I'm going to go for the SP3 right here. No, trigger. Oh yeah, we're going to push him to the SP2 with my SP3. And then this is going to do a decent bit of damage, and after that we're ready to go for a nice nuke. A pretty cool thing we can do in this fight is use the grits, at least once I realize that I have the grit, then it's going to be pretty cool. Because yeah, I genuinely, I'm like dropping a heavy attack because I think I have to, and then I just didn't realize I have the freaking grit to not need to do that. So I'm a little bit screwed now. And then I'm going to push him red because that sounded really smart at the time. I don't know why I pushed him red. I was just like, I'll tank the SV3. He's not going to do that much damage to me. And yeah, it doesn't because Dust has a really nice health pool. And then we get some nice crits there. So the grit's finally gone, but he's not going to last too much longer. We're gonna kill him with some nice basic attacks, and this is a lag spike. Like this is lag. This is not you. That's my phone. And just look at the fight, man. What the heck is this? We jumped to like 10 frames a second. I don't know. Anyway, it's finally over. We finally killed him, but like, dude, what was any of that? Alright, so now we move on to Glykhan. This is actually the last fight of the video. And I had to refresh myself on how to actually fight Glykhan. But Dust does this fight pretty well, pretty fun. You just need to remember exactly what to do in this fight. I have a Wags, but I don't really need it. And let's see, we want to stun him first, then we want to do some light attacks into his block, or the first light into his block. And then, yeah, just want to have those punishments up, and then we just want to eventually bait his special attacks and keep countering them. And then please keep placing Dust, obviously, because that's what Dust does. She places sand, not Dust. I'm stupid. You know what I mean. The things that look like they would be placing Dust, but instead you're placing sand. Yeah, I don't know, man. Either way, we're gonna go for the Dex there. Somehow remember how to Dex Glykhan properly. And then go for a Relic, which is also going to trigger a punishment, which is cool. Go for a counter here. This is a really fun boss. I actually genuinely really like this boss. Is it my favorite? I'm not sure. I really like Bahamut. I really like Citalis. I thought Orochi was okay, and Cerastes was also just okay. But this guy was a really fun boss. So yeah, I'm just building my Dust up, or sand up to max, and then we're gonna try to do a bunch of damage after that. So yeah, keep baiting and punishing these special ones. We're getting close to the max. I need one more sand purify, and then we will be, which we are gonna get right here. And then what am I doing? Oh, going for a Relic. Oh, I'm gonna give myself an opening right after the special attack. Okay. So go for the SP3 here. It's going to do no damage, obviously, because you have to do damage through critting him after interrupting his heavy attacker special. There he goes he gets an evade, which I didn't even think about at the time. It's because we stun him on the special too. So now every time I'm going to go for an SP2, I'm going to make sure that there, I was trying to get him to charge heavy. I'm gonna make sure that I have one, like I have the ability to not be at 3. I can't phrase what I'm trying to say right, but I need him to not be at 3 of the stun punishments, and then I'll be okay. Anyway, that was kind of wasted because I didn't even think about that at the time, but it's gonna go smoothly after. It just meant that it was kind of a wasted cycle, and then the rest of the cycles for this fight actually go quite well. I just, didn't think about that at the time. And then, yeah, now we just continue to bait and punish his specials, and keep placing that Dust until I'm ready to go for a nice SP2 cycle, or SP1 cycle as well, because we don't want to be dropping too many SP2s with the stun thing. Anyway, we have the ability to place one stun, that's for sure, so eventually I'm going to drop an SP2 and it's going to be fine. I don't remember how much sand I go for. I don't think it was max to get him into his next phase. I might just go for it here. No, I'm going to bait the SP2 and then go for it. And then, yeah, that kind of made sense to do. Drop it right there. It wouldn't matter if I threw it when he was throwing a heavy or anything. Actually, that did damage. Why did that do damage? Why did that do damage? I don't know. Anyway, I'm dropping an SP2 here. It does some really nice damage, and then the SP1 right after obviously will too, which did plenty of overkill damage too to push him into the next phase, which is going to be largely the same thing, except now I know a bit more of what I'm doing, so it's going to go quite nicely. And then I realize here, wait, I still have the prowess and stuff. I can bait a heavy attack and then drop an SP1, and that did another 10% of his health, so that's cool. Now we're going to do the light attack into the block. I like to ramp up the stun and the light attack into block punishments first, because they're easy to do and also don't have much effect on the fight. So now I'm going to go for a parry in a moment. He drops the SP2 here. I get the Dex, and then we're chilling here. Going to go for the Relic there. That's going to trigger another punishment, which is awesome. And then keep purifying that sand of his, and then keep countering the specials. Ideally, he drops an SP1, but obviously it's random which one he does. A little annoying, but there he drops the SP1, so we get a actual counter there, and it's just less annoying when it does it that way. Anyway, I need him to drop the SP2. He does. He's power gaining. That's fine. It's whatever. And I just need to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I can cycle this guy now, at least as best as I can. And there we go. Punish that special attack at 69 sand, and now we're at 72 sand. Gonna parry there. Punish the heavy attack. 84. Almost at the max, which is probably what I want to get. Just because we want to try to get this guy down in one cycle if we can. And actually, I just go for it there. That works too. So, anyway, we have 85 personal, and then a decent bit of his prowess that he gives me. And then we do some nice damage there. I don't know why I did that. That was stupid. That was really stupid. I just wasted so much time by doing that. And then, yeah, he takes a bit to throw special, then he finally does. And now I want to get to another SP1 really fast. Here he drops a heavy, and then I can drop another SP1. Does some really nice damage, but because I didn't set myself up for success there, he's still at 27%. Not a big deal. It just means I have to ramp up a bit more sand, but not too much sand. We're going to go for it with probably like 30 or even less than that, because I know that's all I'm going to really need. So let's see. Bait the SP2 here, and then I counter it, obviously. And am I going to go for a heavy right here? Yes, I am. And now I know that once I can get an opening, I'm just going to drop the special 2 or special 1, and then it's going to do very nice damage, pushes him into the third phase. And then this phase is going to go relatively fast. Yeah, we start there. I want to remove his punishments, starting with intercept. This felt really good. Look at these intercepts, man. That actually felt really nice. He played into me very well. And then we're rooted, of course. That's fine. Counter the special attacks, drop the relic, keep removing those punishments, gaining the prowess. We only have 9 sand on him, but we're going to work on getting that up, of course. And then try to get him down again in one cycle. That's kind of just the goal. We'll see how it goes. There we go. Push him to 27 sand, 30 sand. We can remove some of his punishments by doing a light attack and a block. I might be doing that a little bit early, because we don't necessarily want to remove all of these as soon as possible, because then it's just going to get them all back at once. It's fine. Go for a relic there. And we're at 54. I am probably going to build to max before I start doing my special 3 loop, or at least close to max. There we go. He's at 72, and actually I'm just going to go for it here, which is probably a good number to go for it on, honestly. So baiting a heavy attack, drop the SP2, didn't get a bunch of power efficiency, but it's all good. And then am I going to go for an SP1? Yes, I am. That SP1 hits very hard, and now I'm baiting the SP2. Oh yeah, and then he just doesn't want to throw it, I remember. Wasted literally all my time. He still doesn't want to throw it. He still doesn't want to throw it. He still doesn't want to throw it. And then my sandstorm, of course, runs out. That's what happened. I remember that. And he still doesn't want to throw it. He still doesn't want to throw it. He still doesn't want to throw it. And then he finally throws it. After all my ramp is gone. That's okay. It's not going to take me too much longer to get ready to nuke him again. Dex the SP2. We're chilling there. And then I'm going to go for a heavy right here, question mark. No, I'm not. Probably will soon. There we go. Dex. And going to go for the intercepts. With a heavy attack. Get ready to go for the kill. And then we get a stun right here. Chain that into another SP1. Or not. close to an SP1. I forgot about the power drain. That's annoying, but it's all good. And then he's at 1%, Dex the SP2, and then we finally get into his last form, which is just survive until the end. It's not that hard, just don't get hit, and then he can't really kill you. So yeah, Dust, just keep blocking, and that's gonna be basically the end once I can get him. Once I can start countering a special. Anyway, that's gonna be my Dust showcase. Not one of my longer ones, but she's a weird champion on attack. So I did what I could, but I don't think she's the best mutant out there, but she does do some pretty cool stuff, and I think I proved some of that in this video. So if you guys liked watching this one, do leave a like or a sub or whatever, and then we'll just continue with my rank 3 showcases as we move on to number 10, and then I might do some rank 2 showcases as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.